E-cigarettes is the next point. Have come under heavy scrutiny in the past few months over the number of potentially harmful side effects that they may have had to first-hand and passive smokers. Reports released by the World Health Organization in August states that stronger regulations and controls are needed to reduce the risks associated with the use of e-cigarettes. The move has been welcomed by medical professionals and governments, as tobacco has been directly and indirectly linked to 100 million deaths worldwide in the 20th century. E-cigarettes, also known as electronic nicotine delivery systems, were developed approximately 10 years ago as an alternative to smoking, as well as an aid to stopping altogether. Now, Dr. Dominique Stott, who's the Executive Medical Standards and Services at PPS, joins us in studio today. Very good morning to you. Thank you for joining us today.
Morning.
Now, for the sake of our viewers, please explain to us what is an e-cigarette. Let's start there. A hubbly bubbly, is that an e-cigarette?
No, it's not. This is an electronically device. It's a device with a battery in it, and you put a liquid in it, and it produces. It's not actually a vapor; it's an aerosol, which contains various substances. In this particular case, propylene glycol, some water, sometimes nicotine, sometimes not, and flavorants, colorants.
Now, the discussion point on social media, on the pages, people talk about this being more harmful than cigarettes. Is it as harmful as a normal cigarette or smoking tobacco, for instance?
It's less harmful than smoking tobacco. But I think the debate rages around the fact that the content of the liquid that's used is unregulated. So whilst one can use it as a device to help you stop smoking, nobody's saying that you can't use it under those circumstances. Yeah. One should know what is in those little vials that goes into the e-cigarette.
And that needs to be regulated, you say?
It does need to be regulated because you don't know what's going into those devices. And it could be anything. If you don't regulate it, you could end up in big trouble.
So it's not really the health implication that's the big concern now, it's the regulation. Is that the scenario?
There are health implications. We don't know long-term what's going to happen to people who do use this. We do know that amongst the youth, it is being proposed as a more trendy device that they can just pick up anywhere because there's no regulation around purchasing this. Yeah. So anybody under the age of 18 can walk into a shop and buy this. And unfortunately, we see overseas that they're allowed to advertise it, which is normalizing it, which is taking a step back, in my view, because no smoking advertising has been allowed since 1999, and effectively what we're doing now is allowing this to become glamorized all over again. So amongst the youth, they could progress from this, become addicted to the nicotine, and progress to cigarettes, which are definitely much more dangerous because of the carcinogens in the smoke.
Let's just talk about the law. Where does the law stand now? Is it what does it say of e-cigarettes globally right now?
It's a very mixed picture because there's so little data around the research. Some countries have forbidden them altogether. Norway, Brazil, and Western Australia have completely forbidden them, which I think is perhaps not the right route to go. I don't think forbidding them is going to achieve anything. I think regulation is the answer.
What about, some people are talking about banning this completely. What do you say to that?
I don't think that's the right thing to do because I think it does have a place in people who do want to stop smoking. People do find it very difficult to stop smoking. I think if it was easy to stop smoking, you wouldn't have many smokers out there. But I think you just need to know what's in those vials.
You want no under 16s to have access to these kinds of products all over malls in South Africa?
I think you've got to have that kind of tobacco legislation around it. You know, there's two forms of regulation that could come in. You either decide that it's going to be considered as a medicine because it will have nicotine in it, It'd be like the gums and the patches. So those people who stop smoking can use those. Or you take the route where the regulation decides that it can be not sold to under 18s, no advertising, and they must declare what's in it and make it tamper-proof. If you're going to make it tamper-proof, it should perhaps be child-proof, maybe teen-proof.
Yeah.
That would be my suggestion.
Absolutely. That should be the way it should be practiced, like all other smoking, all other substances. Thank you very much, Dr. Dominique Stott, joining us today to tell us about, well, the risks and the legislation around e-cigarettes.